have a few comments I want to make, but I want to start off by saying thank you. It's important that we are here tonight, given everything that is going on in the country. And I don't have to tell you that as we sit here tonight, this country is in a crisis. You know, in the last month, there have been no fewer than 7 Black trans women who've been murdered. And at this stage, nearly all of the protections that were passed for transgender people over the last 8 years have been rolled back in the short and long years that Trump has been president. Just a few weeks ago, restrictions on abortion were passed in several states throughout the Midwest and throughout the South. The crisis of family separation has only increased, with babies and children turning up dead in detention camps, while fundraisers to extend that crisis through things like border walls reach millions and millions of dollars. Meanwhile, this administration is not just ridiculous, they are not only murderous, but they are hell-bent on changing the rules. We're gearing up for another election in 2020, and maybe some of us are close to breathing a sigh of relief that perhaps if we could just inform people of the facts, that the outcomes will be different in 2020. But that, my friends, is not only naive, but at best, I would say it's a pipe dream. Nothing at all will change if we are not paying attention to making sure that we can participate and that we fight to expand who participates in the decisions that impact our lives. And if we're not paying attention, we can be assured that Donald Trump will be president not just for another 4 years, but for the foreseeable future. And I don't know about you, but that's not something I'm willing to go along with. Are you just ready to keep it going indefinitely? I didn't think so. So I didn't mean to bum you out. I just want to clarify what time it is. And I want to just remind us as well that there is resistance happening. And that this is a moment that calls for us to meet ourselves in the future and bring that future self into the present. The nation is a critical piece of how that work happens, and it's a critical piece of the work that must be done. It is in the nation, and it's with the nation, that we begin to understand what's happening in our country. We begin to understand the role that our country plays in changing the rules for other countries. And we get the inspiration that we need from the nation on a daily basis, not just to keep going, but to dream bigger and bolder and wiser. See, in an era where corporate media is being dubbed as fake news, which obviously is aligned with a fascist strategy to control the flows of information, independent media like The Nation becomes even more important. It's independent media that's focused on what matters to our communities and what matters to the future of our country. It's independent media that reflects back to us the hope that we have for turning the country around and putting it on a different path. And it's independent media that clarifies who the real terrorists are and what is at stake if they are allowed to continue to lead. You see, if we want to win in 2020, and I believe that we can, we have work to do. It's work that looks like taking back control of our democracy, our communities, and our bodies. It's work that looks like taking power and transforming power so that we are never, ever here again. It's work that calls all of us to look in the mirror and examine what it is that is looking back at us so that we may become the very best versions of ourselves. And for me, the very best version of ourselves will involve not only doing our power poses in the mirror, but it involves setting ourselves up to win big, and stay winning. For me, that looks like creating the conditions, not just for our resistance, but for our resilience. And it means building the infrastructure that we need to make victory possible. It's why Cecile Richards and Ai-jen Poo and I launched the Supermajority this year, calling into being that, you can clap at that, I saw it. And it's the Supermajority that is calling into being that future that we know that we deserve. Supermajority says that it will be women, cisgender, and trans that will shape what happens in 2020 and beyond. With Supermajority, we are saying that we are forming a wall of women, and you will have to get through women to accomplish anything at all in this country. We are the majority of volunteers. We are the majority of people turning out to the polls. We are the majority of political donors. And it's time for us to be a constituency of national importance and not just a special interest group. Winning is also why I launched the Black Futures Lab last year and completed the Black Census Project, which to date is the largest survey of Black communities in America that has been conducted in 154 years. I did that so that we can finally move beyond fried chicken photo ops and get a real sense of what Black communities are experiencing in the economy, in our democracy, and in our society. And we do that so that we can put candidates and their campaigns on notice about what we expect to be done about the challenges that are facing our communities. You see, it's efforts like these that aim to disrupt a pattern of just hoping that things will be different. We are helping to bring the change forward that we want to see, the future that we want to hold into the present day. And that is why the nation is so important. The nation for me has been and will continue to be that seashell that we hold up to our ears and listen to the waves of power. Millions and millions of people participating and sharing their dreams for what this country can and should look like. The nation for me is a megaphone that is not just about being right, but it's that megaphone that reminds us that the strategies that we are waging, we're doing so to become a more human society. Tonight, with your support of the nation, you too are supporting the effort to bring the future that we all deserve into the present so that we can live it right now. And we can tell our children and our grandchildren that we did not stand by and watch things happen, but in fact, we were the power that shifted the tide in this country.